What's up, y'all? It's Tommy here with Everyday Finance, and today I'm going to be breaking down how much you should be spending on rent with an income of $50,000. So if you're someone who's curious about how much you should budget out for your rent or other expenses, you might want to stay tuned. Now, to jump straight into it, one thing I'd recommend you do first is I'll link below to a calculator created by a website called Smart Assets that allows you to actually see what your after-tax income would be. You know, a lot of times people you know what kind of salary you're getting, maybe you've negotiated it with your company, but you don't know 100% exactly how much you're gonna get after all your taxes and stuff are calculated. This site will give you an idea how much exactly you'd have to pretty much pay for taxes after you've gotten your amount, right? And so I typically recommend you use that calculator. I'll link to it down below again. And once you actually get that amount, now that's whenever you can actually start figuring out exactly how much you can allocate to your rent. Now, I recommend you use something called the 50-30-20 rule. And the idea behind this rule is this, right? You want to break down the amount of money that you have into three categories, basically fit it into one of these three categories. The first category is going to be needs. That's 50%. And needs includes things like housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, things like that, right? Things that you need for your everyday life, right? So 50% is going to go to your needs, 30% is going to go to your wants, and 20% is going to go to your savings, okay? Now, when it comes to how much your rent is, remember your rent is going to be a portion of your needs category. Now, your rent should be no more than 30% of your income, okay? And so remember, your rent's going to be part of your needs category, which is 50%. So you're just taking 30% of would have been that full 50%, right? So that's going to be your housing, utilities, groceries, transportation category. Now, if you're in a situation where you're having trouble staying under that 30% threshold, that could be a situation where, you know, maybe you live in a high cost area. Maybe you're living in, you know, LA in California or something like that, right? You might have to find different types of adjustments or ways to either, to be able to make it work, right? Now, of course, one option is you can make adjustments to other parts of your budget, right? You can try to, you know, give a little more cushion to your rent by, you know, maybe lowering your utilities, you know, lowering your groceries, your transportation, things like that, to where now you're able to spend a little more when it comes to your rent. But I typically recommend you try to find somewhere in that threshold of 30%. And the reason why is because, especially if you plan on eventually moving into a house, they're typically going to expect you to be below that 30%, okay? And so that's why I think it's always a good rule of thumb for you to stay under that amount. But it all depends on the cost of living in your area, right? Now, another thing you could do is maybe living a little further away from the city center or the area that you're currently living in. By you moving a little further out, it makes it where things are going to be a lot cheaper and may mean a little more of a commute, but a lot cheaper of the rent, okay? Other options could be things like even living with roommates or living with other people that can help you split the rent of whatever the housing is that you're using. Now, to give you a quick example above, let's say I'm making $50,000, right? My breakdown would be, this is going to be how my breakdown would be down in Texas. Then the reason why I like that calculator example, or the calculator that I linked down below, is it calculates even your state tax as well. Now in Texas, we don't have any state tax, so this is how the breakdown would look. You know, my monthly take-home pay after taxes is going to be about $3,352, or exactly $3,352, okay? 30% of that for rent is going to be just a little over $1,000. So I know I can spend $1,000 for rent. That would leave me about $670 per month for utilities, groceries, and transportation. And I also have another $670 for saving, okay? Also, I have another $1,000 which is for any of my wants. Wants is really just things that, you know, I don't really need, but things I would enjoy in life, right? So that could be like going out to the movies, you know, taking a trip somewhere, you know, hanging out with friends on the weekends, buying drinks, going out to eat, things like that, right? Things I want, but I don't really need. Okay. Now, if you elect to have a nicer place, maybe you're in a situation where you prefer to live at a nicer place than what your budget accounts for, then you'll just need to cut down on some of your wants, okay? But I recommend you never cut down on your savings category, okay? I wouldn't cut down on there unless it's absolutely necessary, right? Situations like maybe, again, the higher cost of living might cause you to have to cut down a little bit in the area. Maybe you have, you know, a higher cost of, maybe your lifestyle is a little higher cost because you have kids, things like that, right? But you want to try to not cut down on the savings category unless absolutely necessary, okay? You know, I typically even recommend you try to increase the amount that you're adding to your savings category, right? Especially if you have certain financial goals that you're trying to reach, right? Because you got to keep in mind that that savings category is really, I look at it as not just savings, but investing. It's kind of you looking to the future and planning ahead to where you plan on being later on in life, right? So that's kind of how you want to look at that aspect of it. But really, that's the gist of it, guys. That's how you want to be able to budget exactly how much you're going to need when it comes to paying for your rent. I hope this video was able to help you guys out. If you found value in this video, be sure you throw a like on this video, and also make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my future videos. Also, throw down in the comments any other kind of information you want related to personal finance or managing your finances in general, and I'll be happy to shoot those as well. All right, so that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.